Okay guys, this is the final tutorial from the 6 weeks of the Flamenco Labs course. I hope everyone's found something interesting and maybe something to add to their guitar playing repertoire. It's been great teaching you, and I hope you've all enjoyed it and that you found some overall use from this introduction to flamenco, and maybe it might spur a couple of you to go further down the rabbit hole and investigate some of the other styles and get further and deeper into this wonderful art form. So as regards the recap lesson today, it covers some of the rumba strokes. So I got a request from a number of people in the group to cover some stuff which would relate to the playing style of the Gypsy Kings. So just to kind of preface something as regards rumba or rumba flamenca. Rumba flamenca would not specifically be part of what a lot of people would consider the flamenco canon, as in deep, let's say forms of flamenco like soleá por bulería, seguidillas, bulerías, other types of kind of deeper heavier sounding flamenco. It wouldn't be kind of considered. It would be kind of considered at the further end of the scale, as in canti chico, or light-hearted, or kind of laid back, kind of good field time, kind of fiesta type of music. From my own kind of experiences in Spain, I mean, I've seen, let's say, most parties or kind of meetups, I'd say there's about 20 or 30% rumbas and kind of canciones andaluz, basically Andalusian folk songs to a rumba beat, tangos, bulerías. It's kind of really kind of coming later to the end of the night that people start maybe doing much more of the deeper kind of heavier sounding material overall. But what I'm hoping to kind of do with you in this recap, and we did cover a lot of material in the class, is to kind of give a brief introduction to rumba. Now rumba is a very fun, nice type of music. The Gypsy Kings have made millions on CDs, etc., selling their music, and there's literally hundreds of different patterns I've seen out there and different ways of kind of tapping the guitar, etc. But these are just some of the ones that I've been shown and that I picked up over the years, which are useful in my opinion anyway. So starting off, the first stroke that we did last night is probably one of the most complete rumba strokes that you can do. You can pretty much use it for any, let's say, rumba based song. It's just a matter of being able to speed it up. Sometimes you could play the tempo slow, sometimes you can play a rumba fast, okay? But the pattern is so we have the first part, which is the golpe and the thumb down at the same time. So that maneuver, which we've been doing lots of times over the last a couple of weeks. And then the next movements after that will be an upstroke and a downstroke and an upstroke, and then downstroke to a golpe, which is, a lot of people refer to this as the chak or the slap. So you're going that maneuver by itself. So you're combining so you're going so and then after that, so you have and the golpe. Doing an upstroke, downstroke, and then the maneuver starts once again. So you're kind of looping it the whole time. So it should look or sound like this. Okay, and a lot of times to finish off a phrase, the abanico rajeo is often used as a flourish. Okay, So if we're playing that like with some sound like go to it, giving it a chord, like if we're just doing an E major. So once again, we had that golpe where you're hitting from the tapa board here. You can do it either with the index finger or the middle finger. And it's just a light tap. You're going boom, boom, boom. So the chords like that we did like it as that example progression, we were going D minor 7. Back to E, and we also did from F to E minor, F to E minor, and then D minor, E. Okay, so that pattern once again, it is so. Okay, so there's lots of different kind of variations. If we're doing kind of something like as a traditional walk down, we're doing G minor, A minor, pardon me, A minor, G7, F7, E major add 9. So doing that pattern, it would sound a little like this. So that's one of the most common rumba patterns that's out there, and you could use that pattern for a number of different Gypsy King songs like Volare, Bamboleo, lots of them. As regards like some of the simpler, let's say like rumba patterns, you can cut that down by just going. So you can just go. Cut it down to just doing up and down strokes by using your, if you can see from here, using your thumbnail and index as a plectrum, so you're getting a kind of a golpe here. So once again, okay, so if we were doing, let's say like that pattern moving down. Okay, so you could do something like that as well to kind of cut off a phrase. So you're doing a the abanico to a golpe to kind of shut the phrase off. This maneuver. You know, that's a nice kind of raises the kind of the atmosphere like of the kind or the tension, like if you're kind of playing like a piece like that. Now moving on, let's like go to the third one that we did. So this is like a mixture of 1 and 2, but we're putting in the abanico. So you're going. So you're going. So it's. So you have the downstroke, and then you have an upstroke abanico roll. Tap, upstroke, downstroke. Okay, now if we're doing a chord progression, for example, like we did the B minor, tono di trenta, A7, G7, F sharp minor. Okay, so if we were doing that progression. Okay, that's another rumba pattern. If we were just doing this pattern, going, so we're going, okay, so that's the kind of the capacity chords that I did there. So just to kind of recap those, we're doing B minor, you lift the bar A and you turn it into a B minor 7, and then you have the A7, and then you place the ring finger down on the B note here on the 3rd fret, and it kind of gives this flavor. And then you can have G7, F minor 7, or sorry, F minor without the bar A, and then F sharp minor. Okay, that's a kind of a recap. Some of the other kind of points like which I kind of discuss, so just to kind of give you a further kind of like aspect like on the guitar just from this distance, okay, because we're going to be doing other stuff where you're kind of tapping on other parts like of the guitar. A lot of the times it's a rumba people will do kind of like a tappado, which is basically like muting the strings and using the guitar almost like as a drum. Okay, so just to kind of recap some of the things that we did like last night, you could have like things like this. This particular like a rumba stroke, it's called like the spank, and Ricardo Marlo like teaches this particular maneuver. And if you want to look up Ricardo Marlo, he's a great flamenco guitarist like from the United States. He plays rumba, and he's got a lot of online learning materials as well. And I've met him a couple of times. We're friends, and it's a really nice like kind of like a stroke as well. So it kind of looks like this. It's called the spank. So we have. So that is tap, up stroke, down stroke, up stroke with the thumb again, tap. So you're going. Okay, it's almost kind of got an African kind of Cuban like a kind of like a feeling or swing like to it. That kind of chord that played, let's say with a chord, it's really kind of for the more exciting parts like of a rumba, but it sounds like this. that just gives you an idea of what it kind of like sounds like. You could do a number of like different things like tapado, so you can go. Okay, so then you're using like with the top of the guitar, doing a rajeo, da 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 da. So. Okay, so if you're doing something like that, you as an intro, you could be going. Okay, that just kind of gives you an idea, let's like go of the kind of the tapado stuff that you can let's like go do. So I'm going to stop it there and refer back to my notes and go through a couple of the other strumming patterns with you. Okay, thanks. Okay, so just returning like go back like go to the rumba strokes that we were doing once again. So as I was saying, like a tapado, you can do a number of different things. So you could be going. You can actually hit the lower part of the body there of the guitar as well. Gives a different sound. So if we're up here, much drier, much more bassy. Now, as I kind of said like last night as well, really kind of comes down to whether you actually want to kind of hit your guitar. If it's got something like a French polish, let's say, on it, you could be scratching up the French polish like, or potentially like damaging it. So I would usually suggest like if you're doing kind of rumba guitar strokes, to maybe have it on a guitar that you're not too worried about, or that you're okay, like you're using the guitar as a workhorse, like a guitar, so to speak. That's really kind of it, like as regards it. I've no problem, let's say, like you're giving the Yamaha a little bit of a slap, you know. But some other instruments, it can kind of affect the bracing if you're kind of doing like all these heavy taps like over the while. But moving back, let's say, like go to kind of like some of the other, let's say, rumba strokes. You could have. So that is downstroke, just above where the bridge is. Slap. So you're going across, down, up, down, slap, up, down, slap. So you're going, and in between there is an upstroke with the thumb as well. So you're going. Okay, so you can kind of start doing stuff like where you're taking your hand off like with the mute and kind of getting that type of a sound like going on. So you're going. Okay, that's if you're kind of playing that rumba stroke, like let's say with the E chord, like you're moving across, you would be having. Okay, playing it kind of slow doesn't kind of give the same like a feeling, but if I'm slowing it down, okay, so you could have that, the Marote stroke or the Abanico, which is this. So the marote stroke, like just referring back to it once again, is this maneuver. Down, middle ring, down with the thumb, and then up with the thumb, and then you have the golpe or the apagado on the strings. So you could have this. Okay, so that just kind of gives you kind of an idea, like, of some of the kind of like the strokes or kind of patterns. Another thing which I kind of wanted to kind of discuss, which I've seen a number of, let's say, like guitarists, like, you know, in Jerez and a number like of other areas of Spain, using this part of the tapa for marking the compás, like, for a dancer. And it's another, another way of like you're using the guitar as a kind of a drum or kind of an acoustic, like a kind of instrument, like, so to speak. So just to kind of show the maneuver itself, they're basically like it's like an index tap. So if I mute the strings here, okay. Now on the guitar, you can kind of get a bit more of a thud, like if you have it muted this way. Okay. Now other things that you can do, let's say, like, to kind of make this like a little bit more muted, you can actually lay, let's say, part of your forearm across like the tapa of the actual board, and it kind of mutes it slightly. So here's like without it muted. Now if I was doing it with slightly bit more muted. Now without muting. Okay, so that just kind of gives you an idea. I mean, the guitar, like, it can be used like as a percussive drum like idea, like, as well. I've seen a number of different things like by Sabicas, like where he's actually used it, where he's actually pulled down the strings like this, so the E and the A string, and almost use it like a snare drum. So obviously I'm not getting the kind of the mute on as much as I'd like, but it kind of sounds like this. There's lots of different things and lots of different tricks that you can kind of do, like, with the guitar. Using it kind of like some of the effects, like as a snare drum, like you're going. That's a lot of just up and down strokes, so like. You know, kind of talking about like kind of tapping like the guitar as well. You will notice, like, if you tap the guitar in different areas, you will get a different sound. So like if I tap the guitar here, that's a much louder, like, as opposed to here. here, and I'm not putting any heavy pressure, it's just literally, it's just the actual construction like of the guitar. You can, let's say, like do, let's say, things where you're going like this. These different things like you can like do over time. Someone to maybe watch like with regards like those things if you're kind of looking for ideas and to kind of pick out little ideas as well. Gabriela from the famous Mexican contemporary fusion, Latin fusion group, Rodrigo and Gabriela. She's absolutely amazing. She gets some really gnarly kind of things coming out of the instrument. Some really like out there like sounds. Now, while it's not something like I've wanted to kind of pursue myself, like particularly, just because I'm more interested like in traditional flamenco and kind of covering the gamut like of traditional flamenco, and it's a huge, let's say, huge style itself. But even like with some of the kind of contemporary, let's say, fusion guitar, all that sort of stuff. Andy McKee, another great guy to have a look at as regards like doing different effects like on the guitar. If I was kind of breaking down, let's say, like kind of maybe two kind of camps like as regards, let's say, these type of like techniques. Some people would actually put it out there as the type of showmanship, or you're kind of showing off, let's say, on the guitar. Like you would maybe like some people you would see them do, let's say, like something like this, and they move their hand off, and it's like it's a big movement, or and there's like a bit of showmanship to it as well. It's like that will be one aspect of it. People look at it as kind of, let's say, showmanship. Other people will be looking at it as one of the other tools in your tool bag that you can use to get a different effect on the guitar. That's it essentially at the end of the day. And there's lots of different like ways of kind of like tapping like on the guitar, like this way, for example, like this is one way it kind of picked up from Gerardo Nunez, like if we're doing tangos. So you have okay, that's a more Antigua or kind of old way of like playing like kind of a golpe like on the guitar. You could have it's in a much older kind of like a way of just kind of marking it. So you there's a number of like different pieces like by Sabicas where he does like a number of like different things, like even like doing rajeo up at this like end of the guitar to kind of get an effect. So like if I was playing something like the F chord like in Tarantas, I've seen Sabicas do things like this. Doing these kind of little things like, as in using a really slow or small abanico rajeo, moving up like with the fretboard. So here, it creates like a different kind of like ideas and kind of different kind of like feelings like that you can actually like express the actual music itself. I mean, if you're looking at it, let's say from a kind of, let's say, a technical perspective, once you have the abanico rajeo and you have this particular chord and the ability to do hammer-ons in this manner, you can get a lot of expression like out of it. So just kind of going back to it, like here as an intro, you could be doing something like this. Okay, so that could be like an introduction, like for Taranta. Another one that I did, like just to kind of show you guys, like if you are doing like some of the free form, like flamenco forms, for example, like Taranta, I gave an example or a demonstration like last night. There's a number of different intros that you can do, like for it, and I've shown a number of different parts of the chords. But really, kind of what I wanted to sum up last night is like looking at all of the techniques that you do. There's so many like things that you can do to kind of create emotions or kind of different textures with the music. So just to kind of walk through some of the examples like that I did last night as well. So we had like here, and then this chord, and then using the pulgar. That's a simple, straightforward enough like intro for Taranta. Okay. Now one of the other like intros that I showed a demonstration of, you could have. Appoggiatura there at the end, and also I did that little run, let's say on this chord, like just going backward arpeggios, and then the appoggiatura, do the hammer-ons, and then another chord. So lots of different things like that you can do, let's say that way. Now if we're talking, let's say like kind of like melodies, like so one here like which is one of my own kind of melodies. It is, you're doing this version of the B minor 7. So you're basically hammering on and hitting the two top strings at the same time. So you have. Arpeggio, do the hammer-ons, and then a tremolo sweep with the thumb to finish. So we're going. Okay. Now pulgar, another nice like kind of like a melody for to follow on from that one. Another example, doing hammer-ons. So we're here. down. So that just kind of gives you like that's the Tarantas form, which is a toque libre from the region of Almeria, Murcia, the region known as Levante, which is kind of famous like for its mining and coal mines, and the gypsy families like that are based around that. It's a fandango form, which is, it can either be played, let's say, like a free or kind of to a more structured rhythmic beat. But that just gives you an idea of like a summation of some of the techniques that we've done over the past like a couple of weeks, which you can basically integrate like as a whole and come up like with some fairly like expressive passages or ideas. And I would suggest like to you to kind of listen to flamenco, listen to a particular form, and start like learning a couple of the melodies, and then maybe putting your own stamp on them once you've got like the full melody down, or just even just the process of being a little bit creative. Like sometimes it can lead you into kind of a lot more deeper like understanding of, let's say, where you are going, let's say, like with the flamenco form or with that particular like music. And at the end of the day, musicians, we are creating things. Obviously you have to learn the culture or the fundamentals of the actual music form itself, whether it be blues, whether it be rock and roll, whatever the case may be. You have to learn certain fundamentals. There are certain standards. But once you actually like learn those rules and that format, if you want to kind of push yourself further, just playing around, finding your own kind of groove, finding your own kind of ideas like within the music as well. So that's everything really I have to do like in this recap lesson. I know it's kind of come to nearly close to 40 minutes at the moment. So thanks very much once again, guys, for attending the course. I hope you found the material useful, and hopefully we'll be running another maybe longer course next year, covering, let's say, more in-depth material, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of get some concrete, let's say, like versions of the song forms down like for you, and maybe like a bit of dance accompaniment and song accompaniment as well if the opportunity arises. So signing off, thanks once again, take care.